everyone, welcome to our podcast. My name is Remy and I'm from Japan. And my hobby is going to karaoke and sing variety of songs like K-pop and J-pops. So the disorder that I'm gonna research was panic disorder. Do you know what is panic disorder? Maybe some people know about panic disorder, but some people don't know about it accurately, so I'm going to explain it a little bit. So to boil down, panic disorder is an anxiety disorder where you regularly have sudden attacks of panic or fear. But I think everyone experiences feeling of anxiety and panic at certain times, like when you get in trouble or when you failed on the test. You feel anxiety and you go into panic sometimes. But it's not a disorder actually. So when people go into panic or feel a lot of anxiety regularly, it is a panic disorder. But yeah, so someone with panic disorder has feelings of anxiety, stress, and panic regularly at any time, often for no apparent reason. So, and next, I'm going to explain what is the symptoms of panic disorder. One of the symptoms is anxiety. Anxiety is, feeling of unease. It can range from mild to severe and can include feelings of worry and fear. Panic is the most severe form of anxiety, so you may start to avoid certain situations because you fear they'll trigger another attack. So you become a little bit worried about going outside or something like that. So it's one of the symptoms of panic disorder. And also, maybe people who have panic disorder may experience some panic attacks, like a racing heartbeat, feeling faint or sweating, and there are a lot of panic symptoms. So if you have this kind of panic symptoms, you can just relax in a dark and the place that you feel the most relaxable. And if you have these kind of symptoms, don't be so hard. Don't feel easy and find the place that you feel very comfortable with. So that's one of the solutions to panic attacks. And also, I did some research about the patient that who have panic disorder, and I asked with my friends and interviewed some of the situation that my friends was experiencing. So the first thing that I asked her was, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background? And she said, I grow in good environment, I think, with having great relationships with my family and friends, and with having precious opportunities, she said like that. And also she added that she was in a good environment. And I also asked her that what did you first start experiencing symptoms of your disorder, and she said in high school I started to feel stressed. And she also said that it is so hard to overcome her disorder because sometimes it can be so stressful, and sometimes she doesn't want to face to her disorder at all. So yeah, she said it is very difficult, though there are a lot of help by her friends or her teachers. And also she also mentioned about this situation, the environment that's surrounding her. She said that the environment was not bad, but sometimes in Japan, there's the atmosphere that cannot say that I have a disorder. So maybe in Japan, Japanese environment is kind sometimes it can be difficult for the people who have these kind of disorders. So I think it's one of the problems that we have. And also through this interview and research, I became very curious about other countries, and especially about the environment that surrounding the disorder. And I became interested in these kind of difference between countries. So please wait for the next following podcast episode. See you, bye.
In this segment, we're continuing our deep dive into important topics in mental health, specifically focusing on eating disorders. Today, I'll be sharing the story of Nikos, a 16-year-old from Greece, who has bravely opened up about his personal journey with an eating disorder. Through Nikos' story, we hope to shed light on the realities of living with an eating disorder and provide hope and resources for those who may be struggling. Now, let's hear the story of Nikos, a 16-year-old from Greece, who has kindly agreed to share his personal journey with us. I'm Nikos, and I'm 16 years old. I live in Thessaloniki, Greece. I'm in high school, and I love playing soccer and spending time with my friends. But for a while, something overshadowed my life, an eating disorder. I first started experiencing symptoms when I was in high school. It began with obsessively counting calories and feeling an intense fear of gaining weight. At first, it seemed like I was just trying to be healthier, but it quickly spiraled out of control. These symptoms affected my daily life a lot. The eating disorder consumed my thoughts and energy. I was constantly thinking about food, my body, and how I could avoid eating. It affected my social life because I avoided situations where I might have to eat in front of others. My grades suffered because I couldn't concentrate on my schoolwork, and I felt isolated and ashamed. I also experienced a lot of anxiety. I was always nervous about eating in public or what people might think about my body. This anxiety made it even harder to focus on anything else, like school or hanging out with my friends. What made me seek help was when I realized that the disorder was taking over my life and I was physically and emotionally exhausted. I reached out to my mom, who then helped me find the right support. The process of reaching out for help was really scary at first, but it was also a relief. I talked to my mom first, and she was very supportive. She took me to a local health center where I was referred to a counselor who specializes in eating disorders. The counselor helped me see that I wasn't alone and that recovery was possible. I felt fortunate to get help in Greece because the professionals were understanding and experienced. I received a combination of therapy and nutritional counseling. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, was particularly helpful in changing my thought patterns and behaviors around food and my body. Through CBT, I learned to challenge the negative thoughts and beliefs that fueled my disorder. Nutritional counseling helped me develop a healthier relationship with food and understand the importance of balanced nutrition. I also joined a support group which provided a sense of community and understanding. Being able to share my experiences with others who were going through similar struggles was incredibly healing. To other teenagers who might be struggling with an eating disorder, I want to say that you are not alone and it's okay to ask for help. Seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Don't be afraid to talk to someone you trust. Recovery is possible, and there are people who care about you and want to support you. In Greece, there are several resources that can help. The Hellenic Center of Mental Health and Research provides support and treatment options. The Greek Association for Mental Health and Eating Disorders offer information and support for those affected by eating disorders and their families. Additionally, many hospitals in Greece have specialized units for treating eating disorders. Don't hesitate to reach out to these organizations. They are there to help. Nico's story highlights several important coping strategies and resources that can be helpful for those struggling with eating disorders. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, can be highly effective in addressing the underlying thought patterns and behaviors that contribute to eating disorders. Nutritional counseling can help individuals develop a healthier relationship with food and understand the importance of proper nutrition. Support groups can provide a sense of community and reduce feelings of isolation. For those looking for support, organizations like the Hellenic Center of Mental Health and Research and the Greek Association for Mental Health and Eating Disorders offer resources, helplines, and support networks. They provide information on treatment options, recovery strategies, and ways to support loved ones dealing with eating disorders. Mindfulness and self-compassion are also crucial components of recovery. Practices such as meditation, yoga, and journaling can help individuals develop a more positive and accepting relationship with their bodies. Remember, recovery is a journey with ups and downs, and it's important to seek help and support along the way. We hope Nico's story has provided valuable insights and encouragement for those who may be struggling with an eating disorder. Remember, seeking help is a sign of strength, and recovery is possible with the right support. If you or someone you know is dealing with an eating disorder, don't hesitate to reach out for support. Also, if you are experiencing anxiety related to your eating disorder, know that is a common and treatable aspect of the condition.
Hi, my name is Lempi, and today I will tell you about mental health issues in Finland and especially about depression. I had also a discussion with my friend called Itami, who has been suffering depression. So I will also talk about that when she told me like how was it to have it here in Finland and experiences about it. But first I will tell you some general information about mental health issues in Finland. So in Finland, the most teenagers think that they are well-being and they don't have like much of problems with mental health issues. But then still over 20% think that or they have mental health issues, and it has actually increased after year 2019, and at least what I think, so one reason for that is COVID-19, because of course it affects on you if you can't see your friends and you have to be like at home 24/7. But then these people, teenagers who are suffering these mental health issues, so the main challenges of well-being are related to mental health experiences of harassment and violence, participation, lifestyles, and overweight. But yeah, now I could continue with the discussion with my friend. So I could tell some background story information about her. So she's 16 years old, and as I said, so she has been suffering depression here in Finland. She feels that her problems with mental health started when she was very young and when she was in elementary school. So she didn't go to school for a while, and that's why her teacher became very worried about her. Then they have a talk about it, and then the teacher took her to the school nurse. But why she thinks she has been having this kind of mental health issues or like mental health problems are like related to her family. She has had like problems with her family since a child. Another reason is that when she was little, so she didn't have much of friends, and that's of course related to the family, because she didn't have anybody to talk to about the family, about her family and the problems there, and that's why she thought that okay, these problems we are having and so on, so they are like normal, and maybe the thing is that they weren't, but of course she thought that because she didn't have any friends with to talk about it. We talked about that also, that in Finland we have this kind of situation that since you're a child you have to like choose from many options that you want to do this or this or this, and it comes up example in school life that here we have to do in a quite young age the option that do we want to go to high school or vocational school. But then I think what my friend said about that in many other countries you have to do choose like in a much more younger age that do you want to go to high school or where do you want to go. And I think that was very important for me also to understand, because I have like been thinking that how can these things be like this in Finland and how is it like this, but then I started to think that maybe like it's not so bad what I have thought. But yeah, back to that what she told me. So she went to visit the school nursery for a while until she started to feel that maybe she doesn't need it anymore, and she felt much more well-being. But then it just went a while when she had to go back there, and not now it wasn't just because of the family, it was also about bullying and so on. But what is good in this is that it helped her. She felt again much more well-being, but until in school they started to force her to go to the psychiatrist. She didn't want to go there because she didn't want to like start everything again, like tell the story of her and so on, because she had finally got a reliable person to talk to, and now she would have to start that everything again. And that's what she thinks is a little bit weird and unfair, is that her friends who were in the queue into the psychiatrist, so they wanted themselves to go there and so on. So they had to wait a long time. They didn't get a chance to go there. But then Itami, she didn't want to go there herself, and she just got to go over the queues and to go there, even she didn't want to go there. And as she could expect, the psychiatrist didn't help her at all. Every time when she went there, she didn't feel reliable to talk with her. She had all the time this kind of feeling that the person will tell the stories she's telling to somebody, and she didn't feel reliable to talk with her, that she had felt with the school nursery. But now when she thinks afterwards, so these things that she maybe couldn't even articulate her need for help. But now she could say that she would maybe just had to have somebody to talk to, or maybe she got it from psychiatrist, but it didn't feel right. But then also maybe it has that she didn't have any friends, so she thinks that also of course had the effect on this everything, that maybe she would have also had some good friend with her. But yeah, as I told before, so nowadays she's much more well-being and so on, but of course sometimes she can have this kind of bad feelings and so on, and that what helps her nowadays is that she prays, or then if it's not possible for one or another reason, so then she just lays on the floor and take it easy and try to relax and breathe and so on. And nowadays she has friends also, and she's very thankful for them, and she can also talk with them if she's feeling bad, and she's very grateful for it. In the end of the interview, I asked her that what she would say to other people who are maybe struggling and suffering with this kind of mental health problems, and she said that even if she didn't maybe herself get the help what she would have wanted from the doctors and psychiatrists and etc., so she thinks that even if in the start it can you can feel that you can do it, but you can ask for the help and you can do it, as she said. In the end, we also talked about this kind of statistics, and now I will tell you something about it. And this statistics has been divided into girls and boys, but nowadays also here in Finland we have this kind of statistics that where also we have paid attention for people who are not like girls or boys, but the statistics has been made in Finland. So the first is that in Finland 8th and 9th graders girls who are girls in 8th and 9th grade and in high school and in vocational college, so they don't think that their opportunities to influence are not such big than boys in the same age think. And I think quite it also of course affects in that also like in mental health and so on. And a good example of it is that in Finland 8th and 9th graders girls, so 54% of them has been suffering with mental health over the past year, but then just 17%, or I can't say just, but yeah, 17% of boys in Finland in the same age has been suffering with the mental health problems, and I think it's a quite big difference between 54 and 17%. Also in Finland, then boys experiences physical violence more than girls, but still girls experiences more physical violence from caring parents in Finland. But then what came into my mind, so I think maybe boys experiences more physical violence than in friends groups and so on. But it's of course very sad that then girls experiences from caring parents then more. And of course this every kind of violence you experience is very sad, and I think this could just end, and in the future we could live in the world where we couldn't have any kind of this violence and so on anymore. And the same I could say about mental health problems, that I really, really, really hope that someday we could live here, everybody happily, everybody would be happy, we didn't have any more this kind of mental health problems, and everything would be just fine. But I understand that's life, but that's just my deepest hope. But this was my podcast and Itami's story of her not well-being, and I hope you guys maybe got some information, and you and people who are maybe suffering with mental health problems, so they understand now that they are not alone, and yeah, and be brave to ask for help if you think that you need it. But thank you for listening, and I hope it was a good podcast and you liked it. Thank you. Bye bye.
Hello everyone, I will be talking about the topic that affects millions of people worldwide, but it's often misunderstood and overlooked. Social anxiety, also known as social phobia, is a chronic mental health condition characterized by an intense fear of being watched and judged by others. This fear can have a negative impact on our daily activities, work, school, and personal relationships. And also, this can lead to isolation, loneliness, and even depression. Through the podcast, I aim to shed light on what it's like to live with social anxiety, how it affects our daily life, and the importance of seeking help. We explore personal experiences, the process of reaching out for support, and the cultural perceptions of mental health in different countries. And I will be focusing on Azerbaijan and how these perceptions can impact those struggling with social anxiety. Whether you are personally affected by social anxiety, know someone who is, or simply want to understand more about this condition, this is for you. Our goal is to break the stigma, provide valuable insights, and offer hope to those who may be struggling. Let's get started by hearing from our guest, who will share their journey with social anxiety, the challenges they faced, and the steps they've taken. Thank you for joining us today. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a 17-year-old student from Azerbaijan, Baku. Recently, I finished high school and I'm looking forward to starting university soon. I enjoy reading books, writing, poetry, and I also could say that I enjoy learning new languages.
When did you first start experiencing symptoms of social anxiety?
I have never paid attention to it before as a young teenager, but like a year or two ago, I started experiencing it all. First, I became self aware and self conscious, which made me think only about my flaws or how I look. Especially, it was always about how I look. Whenever I went out, I thought about how other people look at me, what they think about me, and if they think I'm as ugly as I think I am. I can also add that with age, I understood that people forget things and no one actually cares how you look. And moreover, people also think differently. In your eyes, you may see yourself ugly or see your flaws, but most people simply don't.
How did these symptoms affect your daily life?
I was too harsh on myself. I avoided social interactions, and whenever my parents told me, go buy some bread from a grocery store, I refused. I refused because I didn't want to go out and feel like I'm being judged by people, like for my appearance or my awkward behavior, maybe some stutters and all.
What made you seek help for your social anxiety?
To be fair, when I first experienced social anxiety, I didn't know it was that. I thought it was just fear or something like that. I never paid enough attention to it. But with age, I also understood everything that was going on inside of my mind. And I decided that it's time to clean my mind and heal. I just wanted to not only be alive, but feel alive.
Can you describe the process of reaching out for help? Who did you talk to first, and what kind of support did you receive?
The process was not an easy one for sure, but let's say it all started when I decided to clean my mind and heal, purify my soul also from the negative thoughts and all that kept me down. First, I found a certain book, the Bible. The concept of love that was in that book helped me to heal, to change, like to change my mind, to be a different person. I stopped being harsh on myself or judging myself based on my appearance. I finally felt loved and learned how to love myself as well and those people around me.
What kind of treatment did you receive for your social anxiety?
As I mentioned before, a book. But not only that, but also some videos from YouTube about self improvement and such. From there, I learned that people are forgetful and will not even remember anything about me, including my appearance, let alone judge me.
How do you feel now that you have received help for your mental health issue in your country?
I feel blessed. I feel free. My life changed. I feel like a different person. Everything about me changed. It's as if I was born twice. As I said before, I learned to love myself and really truly love others around me and all the people in the world, even those I don't know personally.
What message would you like to share with other teenagers who might be struggling with social anxiety, and what advice would you give to them?
To other teenagers, I would like to say ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks the door will be opened. What I mean by that is that it's okay to ask for help. By no means feel ashamed or weak because you're asking someone to help you. Remember that you're not alone and you're not weak. And never, you hear me? Never be ashamed of your feelings. I love you all, and so do other people, even if you don't think so. Take my journey as an example and look forward for self improvement.
Could you share any resources or support groups in Azerbaijan that have been helpful to you?
Well, in Azerbaijan, resources for mental health are limited but are still there. People find support through school counseling services and private psychologists. There are also online social groups and forums and organizations and such.
How does the cultural perception of mental health in Azerbaijan affect individuals who are trying to seek help for social anxiety?
In Azerbaijan, social customs might be an issue to getting assistance. Since mental health problems are sometimes stigmatized, people may be hesitant to discuss their difficulties in an honest way. Feelings of loneliness and shame may result from this, but awareness is increasing over time, and more people are starting to realize how important mental health is.
Have you noticed any differences in how social anxiety is perceived and treated in other countries compared to Azerbaijan?
Of course, in many Western countries, mental health is a major thing. It's openly discussed, and people there are less ashamed of asking for help. And in Azerbaijan, while some progress is being made, there's still a need for more awareness and acceptance, especially.
What role do family and friends play in supporting someone with social anxiety in Azerbaijan?
Family and friends play a big role in providing support, but not every family is able to support one due to the lack of awareness. Some people not only don't know how to support their children, but also they judge them, which is really unfortunate but not rare in Azerbaijan. However, with the help of good friends, one may be guided to seek professional help.
Thanks for listening.